Welcome to Google Analytics training. My name is Iherumade Chuku Callistus. I am the founder of Global Eyes Modern Technologies. In this training, we are going to implement a recommended event. Events are the cornerstone of Google Analytics. They are essentially actions that are happening by our users on our website or in our apps. Those actions are then processed and aggregated by GA, that is Google Analytics, and made available to us in a report. And most of these events are automatically collected for us, like when a user visits a web page or when they are clicking a link. But some events require additional context in order to be recorded, which requires us to do a little bit of configuration or add some code to our website or to an app for them to be recorded. So let's talk about a purchase event. If somebody purchases something on your website, you also want to know what was purchased and how many of them were purchased and how much were they purchased for. So then we can report that on our data in GA, that's Google Analytics, right? There is also one more other category of events which we are not going to cover in this training, but we will in the next, and that is custom events, which are events that are specific to you and your business and is not already known by Google Analytics itself. All right, now you know what to expect in this training. Let's dive in. We are back on our demo website where we already configured our Google Analytics. And now what we want to do is to start tracking different events that are happening which are not automatically collected by Google Analytics itself. So what I have done is I have added a new button to the site, just a tweet button. So if we go ahead and click on that button, let's see what happened. Let's see if GA can automatically track those things, or we can configure it to let GA know that somebody clicked on a tweet button, somebody tried to share something on our site. That's what we're going to do next. The share button is a recommended event built into GA, that's Google Analytics. But we have to do something to make sure that we let GA know that, hey, somebody tried to share something on our website. So we are going to configure that right now. Now what we want to do is start tracking different events that are happening which are not automatically collected by Google Analytics itself. We want to implement to see when a user click on the tweet button, what is going to happen. Can GA track those events? Let's see how we can implement that. Previously in our video, we already configured Google Analytics. So our website is already collecting automatically collected events like page view, scrolling events, link clicks, etc. Right? But then the share events we can't automatically collect because we don't know, based on different websites, when someone is sharing and when they are not. Okay, so we need to tell Google Tag Manager to fire a GA4 event whenever someone clicks that Twitter button. All right, the first thing that we need to do is to learn a little bit about the Twitter button. Then we can configure that in Google Tag Manager so that it's fired whenever a user or somebody clicks on it. Let's jump over to our code and look at the website code real quick. Now we are at the code section of our Twitter button. We need to figure out what makes our button unique so that we can tell Google Tag Manager that we only want to fire a share of it when this particular button is clicked. So if we look, we notice that our button has a class called Twitter Share Button. So we are going to remember that when we are in Google Tag Manager and we want to make sure that anytime the Twitter share button is clicked, that we fire off a G4 event. So let's jump over to our Google Tag Manager and configure it using the class CSS, which is Twitter share button, as we can see right here. Before we can create our tag for our event firing, we need to configure one thing first in Google Tag Manager so that we are collecting the class name of the click event so that we can use that to set up our events. In order to do that, right here on Google Tag Manager, we'll click on variables, then we'll click on configure. We'll scroll down under clicks and we will see click classes. We'll click on it. Click classes. What that just tells Google Tag Manager is, hey, collect all the classes on the element that I clicked so that I can use that in my events and triggers. All right, having done that, we'll click on X
Now we go over to our tags by clicking on tags, new, and now we are going to set up that tag. All right, we go straight and click on tags. This will open up the tag configuration panel. Now we'll click on new, and then we'll click on tag configuration. Then we'll select Google Analytics. Then Google Analytics GA4 events. That's exactly what we want. We will give our tag a name. We'll call it GA4 Twitter share event. Then we'll enter our measurement ID. If you remember the measurement ID we created on our analytics, we'll go straight and get our measurement ID. This is the measurement ID we created in our last section. We'll copy it and go over to our tag manager, and then we will paste it. Automatically, Google Tag Manager will search and know if the tag manager or the measurement ID which we entered is correct. If it's correct, you can see here Google Tag found in this container. So everything is fine. The next thing that we need to do is to choose event name. Now, Google Analytics has a series of recommended events, and one of them is the share events, and it's literally just share, so we'll enter the name share. Under event parameter, we are going to add one row here by clicking on event parameter. So we'll click on event parameter, add parameter, and we're going to put the event parameter as method and the value as Twitter. So put method and the value should be Twitter. Now, what that does is to tell Google Analytics that not only was there a share event, but it's specifically a share to Twitter event. And that's why we named it specifically the GA4 event share Twitter, because we could put other social media platforms here so that we can see that specifically in our reports in Google Analytics and find out where exactly our contents are being shared the most. Okay, that's all that we need to do, but we also need to trigger it whenever that button is clicked. So we're going to click on the trigger button. Okay, we'll click on triggering. Then we'll click on the plus icon. Then we'll click on trigger configuration. Then we'll scroll down to clicks and click on just links. So we are going to tell Google Tag Manager what link it should recognize as a Twitter share event. We'll click on some links, select click classes, then contents, and then we'll enter Twitter share button. The Twitter share button which we entered here was the name of our classes from our HTML code here. You can see this is our class name, Twitter share button. That's what we entered there because everything must conform to what we have on our code for it to work. We will now give it a name. Let's call it Twitter share, and then we will click on save. And then we'll click on save again. All right, you can see it's saved here. Before we publish this and make it live on our site, it's a good idea for us to go ahead and first of all preview it. So within Google Tag Manager, we can just click on preview. That will open up a new tab with our Tag Assistant running. You might need to install a Chrome extension for Google Tag Assistant that will allow you to debug this on your system. But on my own system, I've already installed Google Tag Manager Assistant. All right, but it's really important that you do this before you publish something live to make sure that it's working the way you expected it. So we'll click on preview. Tag Manager Assistant will open in a new tab asking us to enter our URL. which is the URL to our site. We will do that. And then we will click on connect. This will open our website on a debug mode on a separate tab, right? All we need to do right now is to look at tag assistance showing that it's connected. Once tag assistance is connected, it shows that we are not connected to the debug mode of our site. Now we can click around to see if the Twitter button is fired. So we'll go straight to click on the Twitter button. We'll click on the Twitter button. Now the Twitter page is loading. The action has already been fired. So we'll go back to our site and then click on continue. Once we click on continue, scroll down, you will see the summary, right? You will see all the events that are fired. If you check here, you will see tags fired, GA4 config website fired, and GA4 Twitter share fired. Congratulations. I think we made it. Everything is working successfully. Now that everything is working fine, we can go ahead and publish those changes that we made on Google Tag Manager on our site and see if we are getting share events showing up on our profile or on our dashboard. Now we will submit these changes, then go over to our analytics page to see if everything is working. We'll click on submit. And then we'll click on publish. Now we'll continue. Now we can see the version summary showing up right here. We've successfully published this on our container. The next thing is for us to go over to analytics to view those information on a real time. So we'll go to analytics page, then we'll go to reports. Now under reports, we'll see report snapshot. We will see all the information that are taking place, right? You can see the summary, what are your top campaigns, and other information as showing. So we'll click on real time. Here on real time, we can see users in the last 30 minutes, one user. And then if we scroll down, we will see all the informations. Under event count by event name, we will see that our share button is actually fired 2 times. This is awesome. This is very good for us, right? It shows that every configuration which we made on our site is working. We have successfully configured all this information and we are getting reports on our analytics webpage. In our next training, we are going to be talking about custom events. These are events that are not known to Google Analytics but are specific to you and your business. I ask you to please subscribe so that you will get a notification once that video is published. All right, till then, bye-bye.